Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, welcome, and if you're an oldie but a goodie, thanks for coming back. So today we're gonna have a little chat about the nursing field. These are questions that I get all the time, so I just wanted to go ahead and address the questions because, like I said, I get these questions everywhere: Snapchat, Instagram, my comments, YouTube comments, just everywhere. So I kind of wanted to just do a sit-down video so that whenever I do get these questions, I could just refer you guys back to this video. So as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about just kind of things that you guys need to keep in mind if you're trying to become a nurse, if you want to be a nurse, things that could kind of make or break your nursing career. And then another thing I'm going to talk about is what nurses make, salary, money, all this stuff. Okay, so the first question that I frequently receive from followers is nursing for me? Is it for me? Is it the right field? So I'm going to be telling you guys some things that are very specific to the field of nursing, and if you can't get past these things, then nursing might not be for you, right? So the first thing that we need to keep in mind is that nursing is a field of service. So if you are not willing to serve, then nursing might not be the field for you, because nursing is, like I said, it's a field of service. So you need to be willing to put other people's needs before your own needs. And I know it kind of sounds easier said than done, but if you're a little bit more of a selfish person and you kind of like to do things for yourself, nursing is not going to be the field for you, because there are going to be times where you don't take a break, you're not going to eat, you're not going to be able to sit down, you're barely going to take bathroom breaks. All of these needs are going to get put to the side, because you're gonna have patients that you need to put before yourself. So if you're not willing to, go without a lunch break, if you are not willing to kind of just put all those needs to the side to really be able to be there and serve to your patients, then nursing may not be the right field for you. So really, all of these tips that I'm going to be giving you guys kind of boils down to the point of being of service. Number two, if you're not willing to work in a team, then nursing may not be the field for you. And actually, this one kind of hit me a little bit, because I'm a very loner type of person. I kind of like to do things on my own, and actually realized that team type of things are not really for me. So this was actually a point that I kind of had to figure out, because before I became a nurse, all my previous jobs were jobs that I didn't really have to work with other people. I was kind of just doing my own thing. So if you're not willing to work in a team, or if you're not good with teamwork, then nursing may not be the field for you. Because trust me, you are gonna have to be cordial with everybody, even the people that you don't like, the people that you don't like, and you're gonna be working with a ton of people. It's not like you're gonna clock into your shift and be with the same crew. Not really. You might be working with somebody you don't like. There may be, a therapist, a doctor you don't like. It's gonna be a lot of people, a lot of different personalities, so you have to be willing to adapt to that. If you can't put up with it, then nursing might not be for you. Okay, point number three is rules. If you're a person that does not really like to follow strict rules, and like I said, it kind of comes down to doing your own thing, the field of bedside nursing may not be for you, because in the hospitals there are a ton of protocols, ton of rules, ton of regulations. You're gonna have to follow specific steps, and some people just don't really work well with that. I can really tell you guys straight up that a reason why I left the bedside was because of the amount of rules that were involved. There were always some rule that you had to follow, and it's not to say that I'm not really good at following rules, but I have definitely noticed, as far as myself, that I am more of the type of person that kind of likes to do her own thing. So if you are like that type of person that really doesn't like to follow rules, so yeah, it's gonna be a lot of things and rules that you will have to adhere to when you do become a nurse, and when you are working as a registered nurse. There's gonna be a ton of rules, protocols, regulations, a lot of things that you will have to adhere to, and your job will really depend on it. So if you're not the type of person that likes to follow, regulations and things like that, then nursing may not be for you, because it is going to be a lot of things that you're going to have to follow. Okay, another super important point that I want to mention is dealing with body fluids, nasty things. I get a lot of just comments and questions from people saying, oh, I don't really like needles, or I don't like blood, poop. Girl, these are going to be things that you're going to have to get over if you want to be a nurse, because these are things that you're going to be dealing with on the regular. The worst thing that oh my gosh, it just bothers me so much to hear is when I hear nursing students saying, oh, I'm not really going to have to deal with that because, there's nursing assistants or CNAs. Sis, please come back down to earth, come back down to the ground, and humble yourself a little bit, because going back to my point, nursing is a field of service. You're gonna be doing things that you're gonna end up having to do with dignity, such as giving people bed baths and cleaning, you know, people's body parts and suctioning things, nasty things. Like, it's just gonna be a lot of dirty work. This is work that's going to be done. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you have a CNA, a nursing assistant, a tech. When it comes down to it, you might not always have that assistance. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to touch that, I'm going to let the CNA do it. No ma'am, no ma'am. If you have that mentality, I might as well just tell you, don't go into nursing. I actually worked in critical care and I did not have a CNA, so I don't even know what it's like to have a CNA, but all of those things I did myself. The poop, the pee, the vomit, the secretions, like all of that stuff, you're gonna have to learn how to do it with dignity. Also, following orders. You're gonna be following orders from doctors, so that's basically a rule in and of itself. You know, you're gonna get told an order and you're gonna follow it. And the following rules kind of just goes to the point of you're gonna be following orders. So you're gonna be following orders from doctors and nurse practitioners and providers. You're gonna be having to follow those orders. You know, I'm not saying that you can't just argue with the order if it's something that is maybe not safe for your patient, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be following orders. Some doctors and nurse practitioners will like prescribe crazy things. They're gonna be like, oh, you need to do this like twice, 3, 4, 5 times a shift, and you're like, what? Like, what? So you're gonna have to get used to following orders. And okay, you guys, another point that I wanted to throw out there is sometimes new grads, or not necessarily new grads, but people just go into the fields of nursing thinking that they're gonna have a whole bunch of options out there for them. And let me tell you guys, the first couple years of you being a nurse, your options are going to be very limited. I know we see all these glamorous like nursing jobs that are out there, you know, case management and, you know, the clean nursing jobs. I'm just going to tell you guys straight up, those jobs are very difficult to get simply because of the fact the nurses that are already working those jobs are not trying to leave. Like, they have a stable, nice job and they're trying to keep that job. So as a new grad, you have to be very open and willing to work these jobs that you may not want to work, such as the bedside in a hospital. A lot of new nurses say, oh, I'm just gonna skip the bedside, I'm gonna go straight into another job. Girl, I am sorry to be bringing you bad news. I'm not saying that those jobs are impossible, but they are definitely a lot more difficult to obtain, because employers are hiring bedside nurses because bedside nurses are quitting. So there's always going to be a constant flow of new grads wanting to fill those spots. So if you are a nursing student and you have that mentality that you're never going to work the bedside, I'm just going to bring you back down to the earth again. I'm just going to say you're probably going to end up working a bedside job until you get a little bit of experience and you can go out and get these great jobs. Okay, and then the last point that I kind of wanted to throw out there is that you basically have to be willing to adapt to anything and everything that gets thrown at you, because nursing is not one of those fields where it's always going to be a certain way. There's constant change. Like, hospitals are always changing. Like I said, their policies, their regulations, like things are always going to be changing, and there's going to be things that you may not agree with and you're just going to have to follow it. So going back to the point of rules and stuff, if you are not a big person as far as rules and regulations goes, this may not be a field for you, because things are always changing. The government is always changing. Healthcare policies, everything is always changing. So this is a field of change and service. I think I'm just gonna like quote that. Nursing is a field of change and service, and you just need to be willing to provide for that. Okay, last question that you need to ask yourself, is nursing for me, is money-wise. I think I get a lot of questions on salary, and a lot of people think that you go to nursing because you're going to be making these big bucks and driving the Mercedes, and that kind of goes into my next topic that I will focus on in this video. First of all, if you guys are going into nursing for the money, you already have the wrong impression of the field. So if you are going into nursing for the money, you might as well just cut that right there, because you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be satisfied. When that check really hits you in the face, you're going to be like, whoa, I went to school for 4 years, I'm doing all this work for this check. Like, it's really gonna hit you in the face. So if you're going into nursing for the money, then nursing is not for you. Okay, my hair is like over here going crazy, but I'm gonna do a quick search on Google, because a lot of people ask this question and I always get confused. I'm like, why are people coming to me like I'm a Google source? I know that people want to know the exact numbers and the statistics, the percentages, you guys. So there are a lot of things that really factor into your salary. So the first most important thing is your experience. Experienced nurses are going to be making, of course, the most money. Like I said, as a new grad, you're going to start off at the bottom. You're not going to be making big bucks. You're just going to be at the bottom, okay? So don't expect to graduate nursing school and be making like big money, because you're going to be a little disappointed. Right, so according to Google, the median annual pay for a registered nurse with a bachelor's degree is $67,490. The median hourly pay is $32.45. All right, so right off the bat, I can tell you guys that I was not making nowhere near that money. Like, I was probably making half of that yearly salary. And I'll just be straight up with you guys, tell you that my starting pay at my job was in the low 20s. So this says 32. Now, a huge thing that has to do with your salary is, of course, your location. So I am in South Carolina. It's a very small town. The pay is not great over here. So that's probably why, you know, I'm telling you I was in the low 20s. And the cost of living here is very affordable. So that kind of goes hand in hand. Like, the pay isn't good, but cost of living is very affordable. So it really just depends on your location. Like, you may be making $32 an hour, but you have to look at how much rent is. Like, for example, let's say New York. I know New York. I have a friend in New York that's a nurse, and she was saying that her pay is somewhere in the 30s. But look at how much, you know, rent in New York is. So everything is kind of relative. So I'm not gonna give you guys straight numbers like this is how you make and this is how much. Like, if you guys really want to research that, please go on Google, type in your location, like registered nurse salary in wherever. Now I'm looking at Google and the numbers seem to be very skewed. Like I said, I was not making nowhere near that, so that is very like misleading in a way, because it's not going to be nowhere near that high, especially as a new grad. You might want to be expecting somewhere in the 20s as a new grad. Also, unit and specialty has a little bit to do with it. I'm not going to say it has a lot to do with it, because as a new grad, again, it doesn't matter where you go, you're still a new grad. So I was a new grad in critical care and I didn't get any special salary because I was in critical care. I was still making the regular new grad salary. Of course, you do have options to increase your salary, such as a weekend, night shift, PRN. Like, there's ways around it. Now, I'm not super smart in this because, like I said, I didn't go into nursing for the money. I knew that the money was not going to be like satisfactory. I went into nursing for other reasons, because I wanted, you know, a career, a stable career, and of course I wanted to make a difference. So I knew in nursing school, like from the point that I was in nursing school, I knew that nursing wasn't going to be like satisfactory money. I already had the plans to go further my education to grad school and all the stuff. So you guys definitely, I really encourage you guys to do your research for your location and all of that stuff. Another question that I get asked a lot regarding to salary is a lot of like nursing students are really looking up to like the Instagram nurses or the YouTube nurses and such that are living like these lavish lifestyles and stuff, myself included, because I think that people see my Instagram and they're like, oh my gosh, she's really getting it, she has all this makeup. Like, you guys, let me tell you, I was already having side hustles from the point where I was 18. So all these things I had already bought before I even became a nurse. And I'm really not saying this in a bragging type of way or like I'm showing off or anything of that sort. I'm just trying to tell you guys that when you do become a nurse, don't expect to be purchasing all of these things if you're like living alone, stuff like that, because the check is really not gonna add up. I'm telling you, a lot of us nurses that are doing all these other glamorous things have jobs outside of nursing or have careers outside of nursing. A lot of the nurses that I follow on Instagram have businesses outside of nursing, such as myself. We're doing other things, so I don't want you guys to be misled by Instagram and stuff like that. So I really encourage you guys to get off of Instagram and really do some actual research. Go on forums, go on allnurses.com is a very good resource. I will leave their website down below. Type in RN salary for such and such state, RN lifestyle. Like, those type of things are really going to give you like more of the real facts. Now, of course, we know that there's a ton of ways for you to actually like increase your salary in the nursing field. Travel nursing is a way where it's very highly paid. You're getting paid to kind of just go have a contract and go to another location and kind of just help them out as far as staffing goes. And travel nursing is very well paid, so that's an option if you're looking for the money. Of course, most units have the option of overtime just because a lot of units are very understaffed, and some units actually have mandatory overtime. So of course you always have that option of making extra money if you know you want to purchase something or you're saving up for a certain event that month. You always have the option to work an extra shift, to work an extra 2 shifts. So it really just comes down to the point of you loving what you do, because if you don't like what you do, you're not going to want to pick up extra shifts. You're just going to want to do your 312s and get out of the hospital. So if you really love what you do, you're definitely going to have more options of, you know, picking up extra shifts, covering for somebody, picking up a weekend shift, working night shifts, anything like that. Okay, you guys, so before I leave, I kind of just want to read a little paragraph that I actually found on Twitter, I think, and it's saying about nurses. Somebody asked, "You're a nurse, that's cool. I wanted to do that when I was a kid. How much do you make?" The nurse replied, "How much do I make? I can make holding your hand seem like the most important thing in the world when you're scared. I can make your child breathe when they stop. I can help your father survive a heart attack. I can make myself get up at 5 a.m. to make sure your mother has the medicine she needs to live. I work all day to save the lives of strangers. I make my family wait for dinner until I know your family member is taken care of. I make myself skip lunch so that I can make sure that everything I did for your wife today is charted. I make myself work weekends and holidays because people don't just get sick Monday through Friday. Today, I might save your life. How much do I make? All I know is I make a difference." So I really wanted to leave you guys with that little statement, just because I think a lot of people have the kind of just the wrong impression of nursing. Like I said, you have to love what you do. Don't expect to be making like tons of money as a bedside RN. You have to just know that you just have to go into the field knowing that you have a passion for what you do. And if that's not really what you want to do, then nursing may not be for you, and that's okay. There's a ton of other careers out here to explore. If you still like the medical field, you can go to other careers. You can go to other fields and get other degrees. But as far as, you know, RN, BSN, these are real life harsh things that you are going to encounter. All right, you guys, so that is it for this video. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope it was informative. I hope I kind of answered you guys' questions. Like I said, I get that question all the time. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, like, what are you doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.